Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Welcome, my child, to the eternal kingdom of light. Come, all who seek peace and light, enter into my eternal kingdom.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, been great examples to us young brothers, and peace and blessing and salutation to the whole flock out there pushing his word and truth and this series across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Al Shah. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole select the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right. And I want to go into a lesson dealing with their world is ending and our world is beginning. Okay. And when I say their world, okay, speaking of the world of Esau Edom. Okay. And if the world of Esau Edom is your everything, all right, well, you're going to be in a state of sorrow. You know, our people that have trusted, you know, in this so-called system, as the scriptures say, our people that have trusted in oppression, okay, how it's going to suddenly break, you know, because it only gets worse. You know, if you have, you know, any hope, all right, in this world recovering, in this age recovering, okay, if your government, you know, getting it right, you know, if you got faith in, all right, this society continuing on, well, it only gets worse, you know, you're going to be more depressed, okay? You're going to be more disappointed, okay? Because this is just the beginning, as the scriptures speak about the beginning of sorrows, okay? And Yahweh Shai told us, you know, at these times, you know, he told us that it was going to be a time of a shift, okay, for the nation of Israel, for the believers and the non-believers, okay, and for the remnant of Israel and Esau Edom, okay, and these heathens, man, okay, because we're coming in a time of a great shift. Now, when you go to St. John 16:20, it said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. Yeah, and our joy comes from prophecy being fulfilled. You see, we have a different expectation. So these people, our sorrow, will come from, this world continuing on. Our sorrow comes because we have, expectation of a world after this, man. And we desire, to see this world, this age pass away. Okay? The vexation of this world, the day to day, it comes with the vexations, man. Okay? Having to pretend, you care about this shit. You gotta go to work, certain obligations you got, man, that you gotta deal with, but you don't give two shits about, but you gotta deal with it, man. Okay? Little worldly obligation, like I say, it's a vexation to pretend like you care about something that you don't. Especially knowing we know why what the scriptures say, he that increases in wisdom increased it in sorrow, man. So the more we know how the world's supposed to be, but then we have to function, all right, in this BS, it's a vexation, man. Okay? But what this lifts us up from being vexed is seeing prophecy fulfilled, is seeing our power at work, and to really see what our power is doing, we got to watch, we got to tap in. Okay? But our joy, okay, our sorrow is turned into joy, okay, from seeing prophecy, all right, being fulfilled, and these people, okay, their joy is beginning to turn into sorrow because there's no good news for this world, for this age. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go here. This is the book of Jeremiah 17. All right, and 5. It said, "Thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, cursed be the man that trusted in man and make it flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shai." Okay, so that's a curse to have your faith in Esau Edom. Okay, this current system. You see, you're just going along to day playing the PlayStation. Okay, hoping, all right, that the great white man figure it out. Your trust is in someone, okay, amongst this wicked leadership, figures it out and straighten things out, man. You trust in this system to self-correct. Okay, well, this system ain't meant to self-correct, man. And it's the age of the wicked, man. It's time for the age of the righteous, man. And that comes from understanding. Okay, there's no way, that you can, that we, all right, as we understand the scriptures, there's no way we can look forward, okay, to this man continuing on. Okay, this man is deep wicked. You see, and the Lord is judging wickedness in the earth, and that's what people don't understand. They look at, the news and, it's all bad news and they don't understand. No, the Lord is angry at this place, man. Okay. You see, you have our people, they trust in what the Lord is angry in, man. Okay. They want a continuation of an age that the world is pissed at, man. Okay. And our people get further and further away from Yahweh Bashim Al Shai each generation, man. Okay. Verse 6, it says, "For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh." Yeah, see, our people are finna get caught up in the judgment, the wrath, the anger of the Lord. Okay, the elect is finna see the Lord's goodness, man. Miracles in the time of tribulation. Okay, it's gonna be all type of miracles, man. Brothers gonna get power, brothers gonna be, healing. It's gonna be all type of miracles, man. Okay, it's gonna be provisions, man. The Lord gonna make something out of nothing. And ultimately leading up to the chariots, man. And even those that die in Yahweh Shai are gonna be resurrected, man. It's gonna be the good. Even death can't stop the elect from seeing the good that's to come, man. And that's Yahweh Shai coming with that victory, man. You see, our hope is in the victory over this beast system, man. Okay? We're not disappointed, okay, the bad news. That's part of the gospel. The bad news, okay, of this world, the bad news to this world is part of the gospel to us, the good news to us, man. Okay, it says, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit, all right, the parched places in the wilderness, and a salt land and not inhabited, man. And ultimately it's going to be America. Okay, that's the judgment of America, to be turned, into a desert. Okay, not inhabited, man. That's what this thing is leading to, man. It's gonna get far worse if you're, if you're losing your mind over $4 gas prices. Well, hey, this is just the beginning of the bad news, man. This thing, hey, the Lord got plans for America, man. Okay, and it's for this place to be in an uninhabited desert, man, and a memorial of the outcome of wickedness, man. So we're watching these things play out. We're watching the Lord do his mighty work in the earth, man. Okay, let's go here, Isaiah. You see, and our people have been, beat down so long that they don't even know that they're when they want America to continue, when they want this system, to self-correct, well, they're cheering for their oppressors, to continue on. You see? Nah, man, this is beautiful. The fall of the world of our oppressors, man. This is beautiful. It said, this Isaiah 30:12 said, wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon with your depend. You see how people have got comfortable with being slaves in another man's kingdom. Okay, and a lot of our people, they don't want to step into the responsibility of rulership, the accountability that comes with being, a ruler, man. You see, a lot of our people, they will far rather, okay, continue on as a slave, as a captive in this man's kingdom, as long as they have, their daily convenience. Okay, Jake is content, and that's why the Lord got to intervene, man, because Jake, all right, 2/3 are comfortable, man. You see, that's why they got to take the long way to the kingdom, man, through torment and death. Okay, it says, verse 13, that's the point. It says, therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaketh coming suddenly at an instant. Okay, at an instant, man. And we already see the breach in the wall. We see the wall getting ready to collapse. Okay, because prophet is constantly chipping away at Esau's kingdom. So we see the wall is damaged, man. Wall goes into your security, your defense. Okay, there was a wall. There was a wall between, a city, in danger, man. Okay, well, the security, all right, of this age is collapsing. And it's going to go from extreme civil unrest all the way to nuclear destruction, man. All right, this is what it's going to climax at the nuclear destruction and the return of Yahushua. Okay, so therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaketh coming suddenly at an instant, man. And this is what's getting ready to happen, a sudden breaking. Okay, and I want to play this real quick. This video real quick. Just yeah. And this represents how a lot of our people feel. Okay.
I don't know about y'all, but bro, I had to get off News Talk. like every day with just like something negative, some new headline of how the world ending, how this gonna stop, how this gonna go up, to the point I'm like, bro, I'm in this bitch feeling depressed. I'm here feeling like my world is ending tonight. Maybe it was just me, but bro, I had to take a break. I don't want to know what's going on in the world no more. That makes my days feel terrible. I legit had to just put this mug down and say, no, I'm not watching no more.
Yeah, and just because you don't watch, okay, what did that mean? You see, and prophecy to the point you can't ignore just because you don't watch it and you don't want to know. Well, you're in it. Okay, well, you're in it. See, let's go here because brother had that precept. Okay, just because you don't want to watch, all right, has nothing to do with what the Lord is doing. You see, now, you can't just stop watching the news to escape. Okay, the reality that's to come. Okay, more and more people are going to be in, all right, the reality of prophecy, man. Ezekiel 12 and 21, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Okay, because our people move about, as if prophecy doesn't exist. The way our people move, there's no urgency to repent. All right, the fact that there's no urgency to repent. Okay, well, your reasoning, okay, is saying that the vision faileth. The way our people have hope in this world, how they invest into this current age. Well, through their reasoning, they're saying that, hey, the vision faileth. Okay, because we're at the door. Things can happen quickly, man. Any day now, the Lord can downshift this thing. February 28th, when those small hats in America struck Iran, that was the Lord downshift. We in another gear now. Okay, the potential of energy crisis. Okay, so forth and so on. We in another gear now. Okay, so this is a beautiful time. All right, this is a beautiful time, man. The Heavenly Father, is giving his believers something to rejoice in, and that's prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, it says, let's read on. It says, tell them therefore, thus said the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. Okay, so the days are at hand, and the effect, okay, of every vision, man. See, now we're in time of the effect of every vision, man. You're not just going to hear about prophecy. No, you're going to be in it. Prophecy is going to be in your living room, okay, in your grocery stores, at your gas pumps. You see, in your neighborhood, okay, above you. All right. You see, prophecy is in effect now. Okay, so ignoring the news doesn't hinder prophecy. See, people want to be oblivious. Okay, people would rather to just be oblivious or have that spirit of ignorance is bliss. Okay, let's get a couple of these words. All right. See, this is the spirit people want to be in. Let's go here. Oh man, we passed that spirit of being oblivious, man. All right, so you go to the word oblivious. It says oblivious is a adjective describing someone lacking conscious awareness, mindful attention, or memory, all right, of their surroundings. Often used with to or of. All right, it implies being total, all right, totally unaware, unmindful, or forgetful, typically missing obvious details. Common synonyms include unaware, unmindful, headless, and blind, while autonomous, all right, antonyms include aware, conscious, and mindful, which is what we are, the exact opposite. See, we're the exact opposite of oblivious, okay? Because antonyms include what? Aware, conscious, and mindful, man. Okay? Whereas we got scripture to back that up. Okay, we'll go back. Let's go here. All right. And scripture deal with that duality, man. Okay, of our people who would rather be oblivious, okay, and the elect, all right, who have spiritual awareness. Okay. Proverbs 22 and 3. Okay. It says a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished, man. Okay, so a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Okay, and how can we see the evil? Well, through prophecy, man. Okay, the Lord has given us the ability to understand, all right, prophecy, man, to decode this book in the spirit. Okay, to watch, and filter what's going on through what the prophecies, man. So we see we're in the bad time, an evil time, and we hide ourselves in our power. Okay, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Okay, the simple pass on and are punishment. You see, and Jake said, "I'm just gonna start watching." Well, you just choose to be simple, okay, and you're gonna be punished just because you choose to be simple. Well, that doesn't exempt you from judgment. Okay, so Jake's in the spirit. I'm gonna just not watch. Okay, you see, because everyone has a role to play within this movie. You getting involved. Oh, you getting involved. Okay, you don't care down. All right, you throw your phone in the lake. Okay, you getting involved, man. Prophecy is at hand. Okay, and a lot of our people, they would rather remain simple, okay, than to hide themselves, all right, in Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man, through faith, daily obedience, man. Okay, separated from this world. Jake don't want to sacrifice nothing of this world, man. Jake, they love this current age. Okay, so what Jake is seeing, their current age, okay, is being dismantled. Okay, I say if you love this current world, well, you're only gonna be more disappointed. Okay, you're only gonna be more disappointed, man. Let's go here. Um, so another quick clip I want to play. This is let's get this one real quick. So this the brother out of Houston, the beloved brother out of Houston. Get his channel up. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he did a a lesson. Take comfort, all right, in the prophecies. Okay, and this is our comfort. This is our joy. Okay, so I'm gonna play a few minutes of this. All right, and the brother challenged GMS Spiritual Temple too. Okay, and the brother made a beautiful point. In this, I believe the brother name is Karab. So lucky if I got your name wrong, brother. A beautiful brother who does a lot of edifying lessons. Okay, and he made a beautiful point in this lesson. Okay, and then this picture says a lot as well. Where we at now, the past, because we have nothing to look back to, and everything to look forward to. Okay, so let's play here.
You see, as we go in our day-to-day life and you are troubled in the spirit about some things, let prophecy pick you back up, man. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and really I'm just trying to get some words off till a precept hit me. You're right, but I said this a couple of weeks ago, to our excitement for this truth, right? Our excitement for this truth should trump our hate for this world. And that's kind of along the lines of this lesson. Our excitement for this truth should trump our hate for this world. Meaning, yeah, I know we hate this world. We want to get out of here. But not letting that weigh you down so much to where you just in a war is me spirit, right? You are bitter all day, every day because you mad at captivity. No. Yeah, we gonna be mad at captivity. Yeah, we gonna be aggravated, but our excitement to see this thing play out should surpass how mad we are. You see?
Exactly. You know, and our expectation and prophecy and what's to come should outweigh, our current situation. There should be nothing happening in our current situation that outweighs our expectation in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. As we read about the promises, as we, fully trust in the goodness of our power. Understanding, look, we're going to be perfected, we're going to be changed. Esau's going to be removed from power, man. And how big is that, man? Just Esau to be removed from power. How big is that? This nigga is no longer in rulership anymore, man. How great is that? Okay, that's just the beginning, man. You see? So our excitement about the world to come shall far surpass, all right, our current situation. It should increase, man. Our excitement about the world should increase, okay? And start to triumph more and more over our current situation, man, because we all got current situations, man. We all in, certain situations, to where, the Lord keeps us in these situations, certain situations, so we can haste the day. We're not meant to be super comfortable in America, man. We're in a position, Lord, hey, he'll shake our shit up, man. So we can have a expectation. We can keep that expectation. We keep that edge, okay, and faith, okay, in the world to come, okay. Because our joy is not of this world, man. There's nothing, when we look at, this world, this age, all right, the age of Esau, man, everything is defiled, tainted. Okay, everything is full of disappointment. Okay, everything that we can get our hopes up about in this world, well, it's bound to disappoint. You see, we're coming into something that's not going to disappoint. Okay, John 16:33 said, "These things have I spoken unto you, that in ye, all right, that in me you might have peace." Yeah, in Yahweh Shai. Our peace is in Yahweh Shai, man. And the fact that we get to serve Yahweh Shai, man, that's a peace. Doing this lesson right now, man, it's a peace within this. I can't get from this world, man. I don't even match it, man. Nowhere near. Okay, the fact that the Lord is allowing us to be pleasing unto Him. We're being allowed to be pleasing to our power, man. That's a peace of mind within it. Okay, it says in the world you should have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. You see, Yahweh shall overcome the world. He overcame himself. He learned obedience. You see, as we're learning obedience, man, we're beginning to overcome this world. And part of overcoming this world is being dead to it, man. Not having any love or expectation in this world, in this age, man. Truly tapped into the world to come, the age to come, the age of righteousness, man. The age of life, everlasting, man. The age of peace. Okay, that Yahweh Shai is getting ready to bring with him. You see, this is what we comfort in now, man. So we're in some beautiful times. Okay, but if your joy, all right, your expectation in this world, you see, you're just gonna continue to be more, all right, and more disappointed. Let's let's get this real quick. Okay. One of my favorite precepts in the GNT. This is 2nd Esdras 6:7 in the GNT. Said, then I asked, how long a period of time will divide the ages? When will the first age, all right, and the next, it's like when will the first age end and the next age begin? So Esdras asking about the ages, the rulerships. Okay, how long a period of time will divide the ages? Okay, and it's going to be a swift division. Okay, because America gonna be destroyed in an hour. Okay, when Howard shot, all right, crack those clouds, it's over. Okay, the divide and asunder of times is this war. That's what's going to divide the ages, is this third world war. Okay, in which America will be turned to a desert, and these nations, okay, will all these heathen nations will be obliterated by Yahweh Shai. All right. It says he answered, the interval will be no longer than between Abraham and Esau. He was the grandfather of both Jacob and Esau. And when they were born, Jacob was holding Esau's heel. Okay. Let you know it's going to happen in one lifetime. And it's going to be a quick, okay, cutting asunder at times, man. All right. And Jacob holding Esau's heels lets us know that there's no separation between the ages. You know, because when you go into, you know, twins, all right, you know, you might have twins and one says, I'm 5 minutes older. You know, it was a gap between, you know, one twin coming out and the other one. Okay. So you have a twin say, I'm 10 minutes older. Okay. Because one has to come out first. But with Jacob and Esau, Jacob had Esau's heel. You know, and we know the heel, the foot, represents the end of a man. Okay, the end of an age. And Esau and Jacob's hand. Okay, well, you know, that hand goes into power. So our power, okay, starts where Esau's power ends. Okay, and it's going to be through this war that's going to divide that age. Okay, it said Esau represents the end of this age. Okay, and Jacob represents the beginning of a new age. Okay, Jacob represents the beginning of a new age, man. So Jacob represents the beginning of a new age. You see, the eternal age of righteousness, man, everlasting. Okay, so we're in, you know, these beautiful times, you know, promised to us by power, you know, and prophecy is going to continue to escalate. Okay, until Esau is removed from power. These heathens are subdued. Okay. Yahweh Shai is coming to finalize the war. All right. This third world war is going to end all wars. Okay. And begin the age, okay, of Israel. Okay. Beginning with Yahweh Shai and the elect. You see? So I hope our expectation is beyond this world. Okay. We have a joy that's not of this world. You see? And that's why this world, you know, should have less and less impact, okay, on our joy in Yahweh Shai. You see? So that's the point, you know, just want to tap in. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. We want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful like Shalom.